Good to see you again, Belmin. It is, what, 9 p.m. for you over in Thailand?
Yeah, correct. 9 p.m. Man. But
Right. So last time we spoke, you were back in, was it Belgium?
yeah, man, I was still in Belgium back then. Crazy.
So how has everything progressed for you since?
A lot, man. It's developed quite a bit. I mean, it's May right now. I think I moved in January, which is like 5 months from now. And yeah, man, it's been a ride. Like things have developed quite a bit. Time has passed so quickly. It's absolutely crazy. But yeah, since I've gone here, we've absolutely like built a team and like complemented our skills and like actually we're operating as an actual business now, which is yeah, quite a development from just freelancing on my own back in Belgium, man. So yeah, it's been a ride.
Right. So a lot to cover. Our last interview was January 10th, it was uploaded. So we recorded probably a few days prior. So yeah,
Yeah.
over 4 months now. So, okay, you were in Belgium, you were still studying. Did you end up finishing university or did you drop out?
No, I dropped out. I wanted to drop out for so long. Like I was before I even was in the real world. I was doing e-commerce, right? And even then, like my goal was just to make money so I could finally drop out. And the real world was the thing that actually made it happen. But in the end, yeah, when I was making like decent money, I talked about it with my parents, and I was like, I need to do this. I need to do this for at least 1 year, see where it goes. Because if I just cut it off and I just focus all my time on studies, then it would be a waste, right? And I can always, I mean, realistically, I can always go back to school, but you can't always go back to the state of the market and capitalize on it right now. So yeah, it was a decision, a smart decision on my end, I would say.
Right. And then what did your parents think of you moving to Thailand with four other guys you haven't met before that you met on an online platform? I
That's
think
a good
they
question.
were they completely confident in that or did you get some pushback?
That's a good question, man. Yeah, there's a lot there because for them, I mean, my dad knew kind of like what I was doing, but my mom had no idea. She didn't understand at all what I was doing. She knew I was making some money. I mean, for her understanding, I was making some money, but she didn't really know what I was doing, right? And she also didn't know like the guys I was talking with. She doesn't know like Saw, Nick, Chris, and everything, and Federico. Now she's met them, right? She was here like last week, but back then, yeah, she didn't know them at all, right? So I told him like I want to move to Thailand. I want to move into a house with a bunch of guys that I've met in this online community. And I mean, it's weird for them, right? But I guess my conviction and the fact that I trusted in it so much because these guys, I trust them so much. I think that transferred in the way I talked about them, and they kind of felt okay about it. Because I expected way more pushback, to be honest. Like I expected them to be like, "No, you're not doing this," blah blah blah. But they actually were like, "Okay." Like they saw me more of an adult, let's say, who took like calculated decisions,
Hmm.
and they could see that this was that I thought about it. I thought it through. This was not just something random, and they respected my decision and they let me go. And I think that was a good one.
Okay. Very
Yeah,
cool. I mean, I guess it was a similar case for me as well. At this point, anything I do, my mom fully supports because she's seen I have a history now of the decision I make end up working out well. So yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
cool, makes sense. And how's Thailand for you? How has the experience been so far?
I mean, experience has been good, man. I mean, of course, there's pros and cons. I would say the environment is absolutely beautiful. Right, you look around, everything is just beautiful, green. You see the ocean, at least the place that we're at. So you're constantly in awe, and yeah, it motivates you, right? And also just the fact that everyone's training, everyone's just driven and just yeah, everyone just wants more. Everyone's so hungry, and being together in one house is so powerful. Like just being on my own in Belgium, I can. It's such a difference just from working alone in the dark in my room to being here and being able to talk with these guys about you know big plans for the future, making a lot of money, like conquering the world. It's such a big difference.
Mhm.
The only thing, like the cons, are like sometimes you don't know if if a Thai woman is like a man or a woman.
Ladyboy. Yep.
You don't know, right? It's sad, but you don't know. That's one thing. The second thing is that it's crazy hot. So I mean, training Muay Thai, it's so fun, man. But when it's like super hot weather, you're just swimming in sweat. It's crazy, man. So
Mhm.
you have that. But other than that, man, it's absolutely beautiful. It's I think a really great place to be honest. Also very calm, especially in Phuket. Yeah.
Nice. So, how has Muay Thai training been going for you?
I mean, good, man. Good. I think now last week or two, I haven't been able to train because I have something with my hand. It's like this. It's hard to explain, but it's like this hand disease thing, and I don't want to like give it to other people, so I can't train
Ah,
in the gym. So I'm like training at home now. But I mean, I love it, man. It's just so much fun, and every time, like I know when I'm coming back, and I'll be in the gym. I'll be jumping rope, and I'll be like, yeah, like the energy is just it's different, man. It's very different. Um, but yeah, I can't describe it. It's just it gives you energy, right?
mhm. Okay, so give a idea of what your average day looks like now compared to when we done our last interview 4 months ago.
Yeah, man. I'm out back in Belgium. I mean, I would say my days don't differentiate that much from the things I do because back then I was just hustling, right? So I would just wake up, do my I don't know what my routine was back then, but I would just essentially just work. I would train, would work more. Maybe I'd go out for like on a date like one, two times a week, and that's kind of it. And the rest of the time, I would just work. And here it's kind of the same. I just wake up, I work, and I train, I work, and I think the only thing that might be different is that most like a lot of times I'll just talk shit late at night or with Saad or whoever, right? And that might be the only difference. Just having the brothers around and yeah, just talking about plans to grow the business and just all kinds of things, right? But in general, it's always been work, man. Like my routine hasn't changed that much. Yeah, I'm still kind of in that hustler phase because even though I'm in Phuket, I'm in this amazing environment. The goal is still the same. We're not there. I'm still working all the time, and also, frankly, I just can't stop. Like if I can't, even though I'm here, I can't like go out and enjoy myself the entire time. I need to. I just can't do anything else than working. That's where my
Mhm.
mind is at. If I'm out, I'll be thinking about work constantly, right? So most of the time is spent working, and it's essentially kind of the same as it was in Belgium. It's just that I have this environment, and just that I have my brothers around me who essentially push me even more, and not necessarily only in work, but also in training and just in just my social skills and relationships and stuff like that, right? So that as well.
Okay. And in terms of a mindset, there, what would you say to people who call that excessive, everything you do?
Excessive.
What if they say, man, don't you need to relax sometimes?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, my mom kept telling me the time she was here, my work just keeps goes on, right? I can't just because I'm still in this super hustler phase. So my work just goes on, and most of the time I'll be working late night, and I'll be working in the morning when she hasn't waken up yet. And she'd be like, "Man, you have to relax more. You have to enjoy life more." I'm like, "No, it doesn't work like that, you know." Because the goal that I have, right? Like I want to the first goals I have is like I want to retire my mom, and I want to reach 100K a month. Those are like the two biggest goals that are on my mind. And if I'm going to enjoy now, I'm only going to prolong that goal, and I want to reach it as fast as possible. So that's why my mind is like constantly on work, work, work. But I don't deal with the question that much simply because everyone around me is just working all the time. But it is funny though because I got the question a lot when my mom was here. She was constantly like, "No, you need to relax. You're working too much. You need to sleep more." That stuff.
Yep.
Uh, yeah, but I'm used to it. I'm used to it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Understandable.
Yeah,
And how is your business scaling then? How are things looking, and what are you projecting for the future?
yeah. So right now we're at let's say over 20K a month with the business, and we've actually gone into like full partnerships with a couple clients, and because we see like immense potential in those clients to grow globally, right? Not just going to 100K, going to 1 million, like global brands. That's what we see in those brands. So we've cut back, right, in terms of revenue, or essentially it's a risk for us too, right? Because we could go for like 5K retainers, like 10K retainers, but we wouldn't be able to
Scale it.
scale it as much as if we would go into like full partnerships. So that is what we're doing right now, right? Going into full partnerships and really scaling, pouring our hearts and souls into these businesses and scaling them so much. And of course, like we will scale proportionally with those companies, which is, it's an amazing thing when you actually believe in what you're selling. So
Mhm.
that's the goal right now for scaling our businesses and for scaling the businesses of our clients. It's a very simple one, but yeah,
Makes
it's all
sense.
like
What can you reveal about the Shaolin Temple client you have?
what can I reveal?
Mhm.
It's actually interesting because Nikolai and Federico are actually there today, right? They landed there today with the plane. I still need to get the word back from them because it's so crazy, man. Like when I was little, I literally dreamed of training like the masters. I would like watch the documentaries, see the the bald monks with the
Mhm.
orange robes.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
would literally cut up my clothes so I would look like a Shaolin master. So
Mhm.
I would look like a master. And now we're actually working with them. And I know Nick has the Nikolai. He had the same thing when he was young. He was actually looking on the website, right, to go train there. So it's absolutely insane. And they've been super pleasant to work with. And yeah, it looks like we have a very aligned vision for the brand and what we want to achieve globally. And not necessarily in the next year, but in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years. So, yes, man, it's been an amazing partnership. And yeah,
Mhm.
can't say anything negative about it. Or, yeah, it's just been amazing.
Very interesting. So, what exactly are Nikolai and Federico going to do over there?
Yeah, so essentially, we have this big vision for the whole brand, right? But since the masters talk Chinese, right, they don't speak English. So we have the European disciples who like help us communicate with the masters, and they are there now to like communicate the vision, so they can pour it into all the pieces of the marketing and the courses and everything, right? So it's very clear that what we want to communicate to the world is aligned with that one vision.
Mhm.
And they're essentially going there to make that vision very clear to everyone, so everyone is on the same page, and also teaching them how to film content, how to like everything, man. Like, yeah, essentially laying the foundation for the next years, essentially, right? Because yeah, we're gonna need this forge this relationship so much, and yeah, teach them how to do stuff and how to build the brand. Also, they're filming content and everything. So that's essentially what they're doing right now. So yeah, that we'll see how that goes.
Hmm. And how did you guys end up landing them as a client?
That is a good question. I can answer that though, because it was actually Nikolai who initially landed them as a client, which is very very funny. I think the only thing I can say about that is that he didn't know that they were the official Shaolin Temple in the beginning, right? So he was working with Shaolin Temple, right? But he didn't really know. He just thought it was some brand because there's dozens of
Hmm.
Shaolin masters out there, right, who aren't any certified at all. So he didn't really know that they were like the official Shaolin Temple. But like the more the partnership went on,
Developed. Yeah.
developed, he discovered like, oh, these guys are the real deal. This is the actual temple. So that was crazy, man. But yeah, yeah. I would ask him like how he landed them as a client specifically,
Okay.
because I wouldn't be able to tell you that. But it is interesting, man. It's,
Must have been funny though when he actually announced it to you guys. He's like, "Oh, so it turns out that client I had is actually the official." Temple.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I helped him with some stuff in the beginning, and I didn't really think of it that much either, right? Because online, you never know. Like, there's so much bullshit online, you don't know. But it was funny, like, when he was like, yeah, I need to send this proposal so they can translate it to the masters. I was like, that's weird.
Mhm.
Because like they don't speak English at all. Like we have a mediator. They all sit around a table, and you have a mediator who translates what's on the proposal and everything, and on the strategy doc. So that's how it goes. It's very, let's say, different from how you normally do business with other clients. So yeah, that was definitely interesting.
Right. And how comes you didn't end up going? Was it because of limited spots, or did you have other reasons?
Excuse me?
How
I
comes
didn't.
you didn't end up going to China? Was it because there was a
Oh,
limit how many people could go, or did you have other reasons?
yeah, yeah. I mean, I definitely have to like take care of things here in Thailand, but yeah, if I would be there, my let's say skills would kind of be in vain because they're all set there, and I don't really need to be there. Let's say
Okay.
because everyone who is there has a specific role,
Mhm.
and my role is not necessarily the best there. Like it's the best here.
Okay.
So that's kind of the reason for that. It's not really super deep, but yeah,
Yeah, fair enough.
yeah.
Okay, so we got physicality. We got. Are you still doing anything within the real world, or have you moved on past it?
I haven't been spending too much time in the real world at the time, but I want to get back into marketing bootcamp actually, because I've
Hmm.
heard many many good things about it. And we were talking about this, me and Nikolai also, that we have been working so much, and we actually, simply because of talking together and we've been brainstorming so much, we get ideas of ourselves. So we haven't been learning too much. But right now, we're kind of coming to this place of like, I'm not saying that we're get stagnating because we have so much work, but I feel like we need to keep learning. We need to keep upgrading our marketing IQ, and that's why I'm like, I need to get back in the real world and get into the marketing campus,
Hmm.
because I've heard many good things about it. I know Federico is still taking a lot of value from that, so he was like, yeah, get in there because there's a lot of value to be taken there.
Yeah, can confirm. Even just listening to Luke's audio lessons have been huge.
Exactly.
On my
Yeah.
way to gym, I used to listen to them quite a bit.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, Federico's saying the same thing, man. So and I definitely need to get in there.
Mhm. Cool. Okay. Now, have you already answered this question? Let me know if there's no more to say. So, where do you see everything heading for you in, let's say, 6 months to 1 year? Feel free to give a different time frame as well if you want.
Yeah, I mean that's a good question. Like I said, like the goal is right now to scale our growth clients, and we're still like definitely in Thailand for the next, let's say, 6, 7 months, and after that, we haven't really decided yet where we're gonna go. But it will be determined on kind of Nikolai's goal of because he wants to be a world champion in Muay Thai. Like he's very very serious about that. He's going to be a world champion at some point,
Mhm.
and where we go will be determined on where he can train best. And actually, his ambition to become a world champion in Muay Thai like made me think. It made me like because I was doing judo before this, right? I was actually like doing judo professionally. I was competing on European tournaments, even like over in continental. And the goal back then was to become like Olympic champion. That was my goal for so long. But then I stopped that because I couldn't focus on the two things because I wanted to make money. I wanted to become rich. That was the first thing that distracted me from that goal to like become Olympic champion, right? And now that he's like so eager and I see him train, I'm like, fuck, maybe I'll go back into training, right?
Mhm.
Maybe I'll go back in training because I know I can do it. Like I can do anything, right? At this point, like the mindset that we've cultivated is like we can do anything if we put the time in it and the effort in it. So we might go to Japan actually, which is like the country of judo where judo
Originated?
originated from. And because there's like this pattern in the judo world where if someone goes to Japan and they train for like a couple months or a year or 2 years, they become or they take a medal at the World Championships or Olympics.
Hmm.
It's a pattern and nobody is actually like leveraging it.
Hmm.
So we might just go to Japan and we might both train our asses off and just become champions. So this is something that's on the side of the money goal because I mean money is great, right? But if all you have is money and if all you are is just rich, like I'm a rich man, it doesn't like appeal that much. And this is also something that I admired so much in Andrew Tate because he's not just rich, right? He's a four-time kickboxing world champion. Like it's a different level of like a specimen of man, right? So yeah, that's definitely something that we're going to consider after Thailand. So yeah, it's hard to say exactly because we haven't discussed this in full, but that's kind of where our minds are at the moment.
Hmm. I know Federico and Nikolai went to Japan. I saw on the Instagrams. So, I mean, I guess they have some experience there now.
Oh yes, they liked it very much. That's for sure.
And how's the Muay Thai scene in Japan? From what I've heard, Muay Thai coaches do go over to Japan, right, to train people there.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm not too familiar with it there, but I heard Saad told me and Nick told me like the also the kickboxing scene is very very popular there. So in terms of like training for Nick, Japan would also be a very realistic
Yeah.
decision. So if we could combine those, that'd be perfect. Yeah.
Very interesting. Okay, I thought you guys would just be staying in Thailand, but interesting how even if one of you has a goal that you're very driven to achieve, the rest will adapt to that and follow through with you on it. That's true brotherhood, though.
Yeah. Yeah. It's I've said this before, man. Like anything that would like break up the this brotherhood, this group, is going to be a liability to our success in like every single realm of life. So I think it's crucial that we just stick together and we try to make it work for everyone. And maybe we'll have to make some compromises and just like yeah, adapt, like you say, right? Maybe so we'll have to prioritize this first and then prioritize that. But I mean, if Nick wants to be a world champion, right, we have to back him, right? Because I
Mhm.
generally believe that he will make it happen. So yeah,
Beautiful. I love to hear that.
yeah.
And is there any more to say as well on how Tate has affected you personally?
I mean, I've talked about money a lot, and I've talked about fighting a lot, but I haven't talked about like relationships a lot, like relationships with women. And he was actually the guy that took me out of the red pill rage, even though he was seemingly the most misogynistic man on the world, right? So that was a very apparent thing also about Andrew Tate, because he's not just wealthy, he's not just his physicality is not only like on point, but he also has very healthy relationships with women, and that's something that I noticed and I took from it and I implemented in my own life, and it's yeah, it's paid me back a lot more than if I didn't listen to that, if I didn't notice that and apply it in my own life. Just how he handles his relationships and how he interacts with women in general. I haven't mentioned that before, but yeah, I think people just take the 30-second clips and they make their assumptions, right, about how he's a misogynist or whatever. But if you actually look into the longer form stuff, and if you look at him as a person, and you look at how he interacts with people in general, right? He's very polite. He's very courteous. He's a gentleman, right? And I've took all those elements as an example and implemented in my
Mhm.
own life. I haven't mentioned it before, but yeah, has influenced me as well.
Right. And I can say the same thing as well because I grew up without a masculine figure in my life, so I did kind of follow the red pill space at some point.
Yeah,
And then after listening to Tape more, I realized, I mean, that's really taking it to the extreme what the red pill guys are doing. It's fine to be a quote unquote gentleman and treat women nicely and yeah, everything else. It's not actually simping to do so.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah,
you'll have better relationships in that sense as well by doing so.
yeah,
So yeah, definitely a balance there that he taught
yeah,
me
exactly,
and Tristan as well. So yeah.
exactly.
Okay, so in terms of catch up, it's great to hear how well everything's going for you. We can do a part three, maybe in 3 or 4 months again, just to see how things have progressed.
Yeah,
As my final question, since all of this started within the real world, what advice would you have to people who are thinking the real world is a scam for $50? Maybe they're thinking of joining, but what if it's a scam?
I mean, at this point, if you still think it's a scam, I mean, you're just never gonna join, because there is so much proof out there right now. Like even if you look in the Discover the Real World channel, right? There's so many testimonials, so many interviews with guys that have completely changed their lives, right? And the feedback, if you look in the comments, are all so positive. People are so energized and they just become so disciplined when they go through the process. It's crazy. So if you've seen all that, right? You've seen all that proof, and you're still not joining. You're just never going to join, right? And most of the time, and this is actually something I got from Adam, the professor in the copywriting campus back in the day, and he said that a decision is already made like 30 to 60 minutes, right? You already know what to do in 30, 60 minutes. After that, it's just you're wasting time. So if you're still like doubtful about joining, then just think like where do I want to be in a couple of years? Like if you just want to live a normal life, if you want to go to a job and don't think, and you just want to come home and just turn your brain off, watch TV, you can do that. That's fine, right? But if you don't want, if you actually want to decide for yourself when you want a day off, if you want to treat your parents with nice things, if you want to like retire your parents, if you want to decide where you work, when you wake up, if that's the kind of life that you want to live, then you have to join a real world. You can be working 9 to 5 and expect that you're gonna live such a life. It's not gonna happen, bro. And the faster you start now, the faster you're gonna get the result. It's as clear as it's as easy as that, bro.
Mhm.
So it's very simple. It's very simple. Just look at where you want to be in a couple of years, and then just make your decision. Because yeah, it's gonna be aligned with that outcome in the future.
Great speech. I'll call it that. Great points.
Thanks, man.
Okay, so if people want to find out more about you or contact you, where can they do so?
Yeah, yeah. They could go to like Instagram, which is Conversion Cupid. And actually, I've been starting to make some YouTube videos. I'm starting to like pour out content just for the sake of it. And it's also called Conversion Cupid on YouTube. Like, actually, I'm posting more shit there than on Instagram. I'm actually not that active on Instagram, right? And if you're actually a business that's making like 30 to 50K a month, and you want to scale that to 100K, or even you want to scale to 7 figures a month, then you need to go to 8weapons.com and you can find out how our process works there. But yeah, Conversion Cupid on YouTube is probably going to be the best resource for the people that watch this.
Okay, I will add those to the description of the video for anyone
Awesome.
interested. Check that. And Belmin, thank you for the insights. Really enjoyed the catch up, the conversation,
Thank you,
and
man.
I
Me
look
too.
forward to the part 3. So, all the best to you until then.
Me too, man. Thank you, man.